Hi friends, today we continue our journey of discovering adaptive reuse buildings here in Los Angeles, and we are finally in downtown, in the place where it all got started and actually got to the seismic size that it ended up being in the early 2000s. We are in Pan American Lofts, one of the oldest, actually second oldest commercial building in Los Angeles. So I'm very excited to show you not only this building, but also one of the units in this building as a two-part series of covering this fantastic property. This building has never been a warehouse or a factory or anything like that. It's always been an office space. And usually office conversions are, let me just be honest, boring. But this is not the case, because this is in the heart of Los Angeles, and the conversion that took place over here was fantastic. So let me take you on this journey, show you around, and let's begin. The building sits at 249-259 South Broadway, anchoring the Broadway Theater District and the historic core neighborhood. You're steps away from Bradbury Building, the $1 Million Theater, Grand Central Market, and right around the corner from City Hall. And walkable access to the Metro AE lines, dash buses, Pershing Square, Grand Park, Civic Center, and Bunker Hill. It's truly urban living at its finest. Step inside and you're greeted by soaring 12 to 17-foot ceilings, grand arch windows overlooking Broadway, exposed brick walls, majestic terracotta detailing, and gleaming concrete or hardwood floors. Penthouses are next level. Tri-level layouts, vaulted ceilings, private rooftop terraces, and skyline views, and even an elevator drop-off at your door. The shared central courtyard, open to the sky, serves as a social heart of the building, perfect for morning coffee or evening chats. Construction on this building began in 1894-1895, and the building was designed by one of the prominent Los Angeles architects, Sumner Hunt. Interestingly enough, he designed not only one, but two buildings on this intersection. Obviously, Pan American Lofts right behind me, and a Bradbury building just across the street. Second oldest building, commercial building in Los Angeles, and the oldest commercial building in Los Angeles still standing. Among the other famous buildings that Sumner Hunt participated at are the Heaney Mansion, Raymond Hotel in Pasadena, Loomis House, and this guy did everything. Unlike a lot of architects of that era, he did residential buildings, he did commercial buildings, he did clubhouses for lots of fancy places here in Los Angeles. And he was one of those people that collaborated with other architects. That's why his name is on so many buildings. However, with certain buildings, it's being contested, just like the one behind us, Bradbury Building. Started the project on a Bradbury building, but he never finished it because he was fired. That's why his name is so contested in history. So originally, the building, now known as Pan American Lofts, was known as Irvine Building or Irvine Block. And later on, it was purchased by Byrne, so the name changed to Irvine-Byrne Building right around 1905. One of the other prominent architects in Southern California history, Willis Polk, participated in renovating this building after the fire in 1911. When this building was constructed, it was used as offices, and lots of architects, lots of lawyers, lots of representatives of other professions resided here on the different floors. On the ground floor, there's always been some other commercial activity, usually stores, and one of the most famous ones that got closed in 1998 was Giant Penny. That was so prominent. It was there for, I believe, 30 or 40 years, and it got closed in 1998 when the downtown was going through somewhat of a bad times right before the Renaissance came with adaptive reuse ordinance in 1998. But that store closure was one of the last and final nails in a coffin of five and dime stores that were very, very popular back in the day. And when certain areas fell into disrepair and when you couldn't purchase anything anymore for 5 or 10 cents, that was the beginning of an end of those types of stores. Redevelopment of this particular building began in early 2000s, right after adaptive reuse ordinance was voted for in 1999. However, the first developer, Oxford Street Properties, just could not bring it over the finish line. One of the interesting things about the first developer was the fact that originally there was supposed to be 52 units over here. Right now, there's only 40. So the developer that came in a little bit later decided to change the layout from the original layouts where the offices were on a smaller side. That became one of the reasons why the building became so successful. Second developer that decided to take a swing at it purchased the building and started working it around 2004. Spent about $20 million redeveloping and bringing the building to its current condition. First units started to get sold over here around late 2006. And towards the end of the year, 26 units were already sold, leaving only 14 units unsold. The architect that ended up working on this building was Donald Barani, that was chosen by Urban Pacific to convert this building into 40 residential units, 10 of which are penthouses. The conversion faced several challenges: preserving terracotta trim, ionic pilasters, and arched windows, upgrading elevators, integrating sprinklers, and installing secure underground parking under the old freight area, all while protecting the iconic entrance marquee. They even raised the roof and inserted modern penthouses that blend with the building's historic aesthetics. This approach wasn't about blending in, it was about respectful contrast and conversation. Overall, there are 40 units in a building, ranging from 730 square feet to 1,390 square feet, and 10 of them are penthouses. Sales began in 2006, and a lot of the units sold in $300,000 to $400,000 range. However, later on, around 2010, 2011, prices here in the building took a dip, and certain units were purchased in mid $200,000 range. But since then, mid-sized units came back and now are selling for roughly $500,000 to $600,000 per unit. The highest sale in the building took place in 2021, when unit number 509 sold for $1,075,000. Yearly turnover in a building is kind of low. There's usually 1 to 2 units being sold per year. And in 2005, there was only 1 unit that sold over here. Designer unit, and it ended up selling for $745,000. Association dues would range, depending on the size of the unit, between $600 and $800 per unit per month. However, one of the positive things about this building is that it falls under Mills Act, allowing the owners to save a little bit of money on their annual taxes, which is a big plus, owning units in historic buildings just like the one behind me. Pan American Lofts is not just a place to live. It is an evolution of downtown from Depression-era 1930s, from the office spaces, department stores, and other stores that you would find on the ground level, to a luxury loft housing that became very, very popular here in downtown in early 2000s with adaptive reuse ordinance. Oh, by the way, you guys, don't forget that not only that I did the video on this building, but I was also able to talk to one of the people that owns the unit over here. He was kind enough to show me his loft. So we're very lucky to be able to get in historic buildings like that. So hopefully you guys appreciate it as much as I do. So please support me on this journey. And don't forget that I'm still on a hunt for good people that would be able to participate me over here and maybe help me out with a historical research or architectural integrity of those buildings, trying to analyze all of this stuff. I'm looking for friends. So if you have somebody that might be interested in participating in a project like this, please bring them over. Tell them to watch my videos. And if you think that something's wrong with my videos, or maybe something's right with them, please don't be shy to tell me. Because in the end of the day, I'm not doing this just for myself, even though I love those buildings, but I would still love to hear back from you guys. So hopefully, I'll be able to achieve it.